I'm about to read for you my reaction on an interview with the distinguished Mr. Berhard-Henry Levy, a French writer. Uh, this interview was taken by the KyivPost, and it was published under the title European Leaders May Be Abandoning Ukraine. This is what I wrote. Mr. Levy is right. In April 2014, I already predicted that this would happen, the abandoning of Ukraine by the Western leaders. You only have to look to the interests of many European countries to understand that one day they would start increasing pressure upon Ukraine to accept the Russian demands. Why? Because the economic and political interests of Europe in and with Russia are simply much bigger than with Ukraine. Furthermore, many of our leaders are fighting for survival. Populists are on their heels. If peace in Ukraine brings calm to Europe, no longer reveals our politicians' opportunistic and cynical weakness to their own people, and ends the sanctions, then that is good for the European economy, the standing of our leaders, and thus to their political survival. This is what is behind all this. No principles of the European peace order, no ideals, no justice for 45 million fellow Europeans, people like you and me. Only cold-hearted interests and political survival count. And we, ordinary people, still allow them, our politicians, to go on with this. And if we no longer allow them to go on, we switch to left-wing and right-wing political parties, populists, who are even worse, and in general admire Putin. Europe, both in terms of its leadership, as in terms of the majority of its peoples, is extremely weak right now. It is a surreal situation, a surreal episode in our history. History shows that forces who want to dominate, and Putin is clearly one of them, are provoked by such a weakness. Had Europe been militarily strong, with a strong political leadership which signals don't and then the F word with us, then Putin would never have dared to attack Ukraine, I'm sure of that. Now he does, and I tell you, he will go further. Why not? The price he pays and the dangers he faces are marginal, in contrast to what our Western leaders want to make us believe. We Europeans have no option than to really fight back, if necessarily on the battlefield in Ukraine. There is no looking away or hoping that the power hunger of Putin can be satisfied by giving in with respect to Ukraine. We have to learn to come up for justice on our continent. If country A attacks country B, the whole continent has to defend country B to eliminate violence as a means of politics on our continent, which has suffered so much from it. If even the strongest country is blocked in this way, and the continent can because it's strong enough for that, then everybody knows what the new set of rules are on this continent. It's absolutely worth it for the peace of ourselves and our children. If we Europeans don't change soon and show how much more determination, we will pay a tremendous price, like always in our history. So, what is necessary right now? 1. A clear perspective to countries like Ukraine on EU membership. This to show that Europe is not intimidated by Russia. To show to the entourage of Putin that his strategy is ineffective. And above all, to give hope to the people of Ukraine and room to maneuver to their leaders. Second, station credible military forces in strategic regions in Ukraine. Kharkiv, entrance to Crimea, Kiev, etc. 50 kilometers or more behind the front line, to show Putin that if he wants more of Ukraine, he will first have to defeat Europe. He can't do that. So this will make him ineffective once again. Ineffective is really the key word in stopping Putin. We have to make him ineffective. We refuse to do so, And now he is making our leaders ineffective. That is how it works. That has to change. Of course, Putin would then say to his people, I told you so. NATO wants to threaten us from Ukrainian territory. But just let him talk. Our actions should not be blocked because we don't want to give Putin a I told you so style argument. We simply have to do what is necessary. 3. Decouple national territory and NATO territory. So, if for example Georgia wants to join NATO, make a deal with Georgia that only the parts of Georgia will be defended by NATO that are not currently under Russian occupation. This will undermine the frozen conflict tactics and make Putin ineffective. Of course, you will have to do this by surprise, because else Russia can react to this. 4. Give generous economic aid to Ukraine without expecting that Ukraine fulfills high standards of anti-corruption right now. Clear progress in the process of fighting corruption is enough and fair. 5th, threefold the impact of economic sanctions on Russia and be willing to suffer yourself because of it. It put extra pressure on Putin both economically but also because it shows that we mean business. 6th, the final point, dramatically increase defense spending and military exercises. Again, to show that we mean business, but also for our own self-confidence. Because we are militarily weak, we have no courage and determination. It shouldn't work this way, it's no excuse, but this is how it works in reality. We should give ourselves self-confidence. This is what should happen. On this way, the situation in Europe will gradually improve. The present cynical, heartless and opportunistic policies of our Western leaders have to come to an end, and if they are not willing to do that, they should be replaced by others.